Fighting for freedom, liberty, and the restoration of the Constitution. The Patrick Riggins Show. Call in now at 865-243-8255. That's 243-TALK. And now your host, Patrick Riggins.
Welcome back to the Patrick Riggins Show. I've got it together, Tori.
I was wondering.
Everybody watching online?
It is truly behind the scenes. If you check out the studio cam, it is
a lot of stuff going on. I tell you, I was kind of Pluck Spanky show there right before ours there, and he was talking about losing weight. If you want good exercise, run to the bathroom during a short commercial break. That is some exercise.
Actually, I broke my foot doing that at a station I used to work at years ago.
Really?
Running to the bathroom during a break, and I was running back through the hallway, just getting it, running as fast as I can, and somebody came out of another studio and said something. I stopped, planted on my left foot, and you heard it snap, and I fractured it across the center of my foot.
Oh, nice. From
a bathroom break.
And you don't have a good story. You know, that's not like you were in a bar fight or something. It's 6 guys and one of them stepped on your foot, but you put the others in the hospital.
Radio related.
Radio, yeah. I was running down the hall from the bathroom. Yeah, you can't.
Broadcasting relating injury.
Yeah, that's just not a good enough story.
No. But that's all I got. So.
Yeah, make it up then. Our government makes up stuff. Why shouldn't the citizens?
Can you dig it?
Yeah.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Tori getting his buttons pushed over, or pushing the buttons.
All right, carry on.
Carry on. Yeah. Everyone out there is going, okay, we got it. Yeah. Oh, never know what's going to happen on the Patrick Riggins Show. All right, last segment of the show here, and we've been kind of talking about the Middle East, and I've got a good article by Matt Welch this weekend, and what he stated, and I think it's an important thing to remember after everything that's happened here. You don't blame a YouTube video for inciting the mob that killed the U.S. ambassador. You blame the killers. In his column, he wrote, "It's a modern marvel to witness how thoroughly the country's journalists and commentators have, over the past decade, internalized false notions about Muslims, violence, and free expression. For instance, the depicting of the historical figure of Muhammad is untenable blasphemy. That the mere discussion about the proposed portrayal of a cartoon Muhammad bearsuit should be avoided at all costs in order to avoid a potential spasm of Mideast violence. And that retreating so objectively from the defense of free speech will somehow make the world a safer place." Basically what he's stating there is, just by not talking about it, the Middle East isn't all of a sudden going to turn around and send us roses. It's just not going to happen. He went on to state, Western countries without a First Amendment prosecute blasphemers. Even free speech heroes like Penn Jillette of Penn and Teller will acknowledge that his act won't tackle Islam because they have families. So it shouldn't come as a great surprise that now, after Tuesday night's savage murder of 4 Americans in Libya, including Ambassador J. Christopher Stevens, a sector of the American commentariat is calling for the heads of the lunatic Florida pastor Terry Jones and a bizarro world filmmaker who goes by the name Sam Basile. Some of them seem to go as far as to agree with Mohammed al-Zawahiri that the filmmakers should be arrested and brought to trial. Mr. Welch went on to say, University of Pennsylvania Associate Professor of Religious Studies Anthea Butler, for example, tweeted, "How soon is Sam Basile going to be, or how soon is it until he's in jail, folks? I need him to go now. When Americans die because you're stupid, then these things are what should happen." Also in the Huffington Post, Reverend Stephen Martin, Reverend Steve Martin. He
excuse
Me. He said, I have no sympathy for anyone who would assassinate a U.S. ambassador, Martin wrote, but I have even less sympathy for filmmakers who spread hatred and for pastors who knowingly incite violence. Mr. Welch went on to say, oh, you had something?
No, I was just going to say, although it's freedom of speech.
It is freedom of speech, and that's what this column is really about, is the fact that we're restricting freedom of speech now based on the fact that we're going to upset people over in the Middle East and they're going to start rioting.
It's freedom of speech until you offend me. Then you don't have the freedom of speech anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's what they feel like over there. And the threat is, if you talk about something we don't like, we're just going to kill you. And while we sit in this country and laugh about that sort of thing happening in another country, it is happening in this country. Because as we see right here in this column, what's happening over there, the suppression of free speech and suppression of many basic human rights, is causing us to have our rights suppressed. Just look at this whole terrorism thing. I addressed this last week. How have the terrorists succeeded in causing us problems? And this is part of it. We've lost many freedoms and liberties in this country as a direct cause of the war on terror. We sit here and say we're being safer and everything, but we're really not. We're just operating under what they call, well, a lot of people call it online the theater of safety, because it is just a show. And we're really, what we need to do, I guess, is what I'm trying to get to, is just be ourselves, be Americans, be the shining light of the world that people aspire to, and don't worry about what all these other people have to say. But again, getting back to this, Farrah Stockman, the Boston Globe, said, shouldn't people who knowingly incite violence against the United States as a crude, thinly veiled publicity stunt also be held accountable? I can't think of a time when the reckless actions of a few private citizens have cost us so much in American lives, taxpayers, and credibility around the world. What Mr. Welch is talking about here is, as we've said, we're not only encouraging the easily offended to lower their outrage bar, and thus we're perpetuating this cycle of stifled speech in our country and in the West. And you're just reinforcing this, and when we're rewarding this behavior, we're getting more of it. It just doesn't matter. We continue to make excuses for this bad behavior. We do it in this country all the time, and then we're surprised when we get more of it. These are the problems we need to start addressing in this country, or we can just expect more of them. All right, we're up on the end of the show here. Again, a fantastic show with Patrick Riggins Show. I appreciate everyone tuning in and listening. If you'd like more information, you can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com, and it's /Patrick Riggins Show. Also, be sure and hit that like button on there, and that'll keep you updated on everything we post during the week.
I like it.
You like it. And also, if you don't have to have a Facebook account, you can just go to that, facebook.com/Patrick Riggins Show, and you can see it, even if you don't have a Facebook account. You
just have a face.
Just have a face. You don't have to have the book. We're also on Twitter. If you're on there, the little @ Patrick Riggins. And if you miss anything or want to go back and hear something and say, yeah, Patrick really made me mad when he said that, you can go to youtube.com/Patrick Riggins Show. That's Riggins. That's how you spell Riggins, not Patrick.
Captain Obvious strikes again.
Yeah. And also, all the old shows, or most of the old shows, are on there as well. This show will be on there probably in a day or so. Anyway, join me next Sunday afternoon, when once again we'll talk about freedom, liberty, and the restoration of that good old document we ignore, the Constitution. This is Patrick Riggins. We'll see you next Sunday afternoon at 4. Have a great week.
Join us again next week for a solid dose of truth on the Patrick Riggins Show, every Sunday from 4 to 5 p.m. Be there.